Oh, hello there. Have your friends been playing League of Legends for years and you finally decided to join them? Did you quickly realize that the game wasn't as easy as you expected it to be? My name is the Pandalorian, and today I am going to be breaking down the basics of League of Legends for you. Alright, so you probably already know this, but League of Legends is a 5v5 MOBA game where the goal is to destroy the enemy nexus. So the first thing you probably need to know is that the game breaks down into 5 main roles. You have your top lane, your jungler, your mid laner, your ADC, and your support. So the first thing you probably want to do is decide what type of player you are. Do you prefer tanks and bruisers? Then the top lane is probably going to be best for you. Do you want to have impact on lanes? Well, then jungler is probably going to be good for you, although it is hard to pick up early into the game. Do you want to play an assassin or a mage? Then mid lane is probably going to be best for you. If you want to do a lot of damage, then ADC is going to be the role for you. And if you want to be the one who protects your team, then I would suggest to go support. So picking your champion. Once you log in for the first time, you can go over to your collection page and go into champions. And here you will find every single champion that is in League of Legends. Now there are a lot of champions to pick from, so this is why it is best to pick your role first. Now when you start out on League, you do not have every champion unlocked, and you will have to unlock these champions with Blue Essence. Blue Essence is earned by winning games and leveling up. Once you level up, when you go into your loot tab, you will be able to unlock champions here, which you can either sell or upgrade into a permanent champion. Now, if you didn't get the champion that you wanted, don't worry. You can go into the store here and go into the champions tab. In this tab, you can find every champion and you can use the search bar to look for the one that you want to play. So for the purpose of the video, let's say I chose mid as my role, and I went with a champion called Echo. Echo is a mage assassin who is played in the mid lane. So before you get into the game, you have a few options here. You can choose runes, which are pretty complicated, but you can choose from 5 different trees: precision, domination, sorcery, resolve, and inspiration. Now getting into what each rune does can be pretty complicated, but you can find a lot of guides made by players by searching on Google, which is great for a new player. Now you also have what we call summoners. There are 9 summoners to pick from. You have Cleanse, Exhaust, Flash, Ghost, Heal, Smite, Teleport, Ignite, and Barrier. Depending on the situation, the role, and the champion you're gonna pick, you will not be picking the same summoners every game. As a mid laner, most of the time you're gonna pick either Ignite if you want to go aggressive, or a Teleport if you want to play a little more passive. For your second summoner, most of the time you're gonna be playing Flash. This is the most standard summoner to pick in the game. Once you hop into your game, you will spawn in the Rift in your fountain. This is a safe place where you can regenerate HP and also use the shop to buy items. By pressing P, you will open up the item shop where you find the suggested starter items for playing the game. Now as a new player, you can follow an online guide or you can follow the suggested items. You also want something called a ward that we will talk about a little later on. So the first thing you want to do is move your champion. You can do this by right clicking. There is also another movement that you can use called attack move click. By pressing escape, you open up your options bar and you can go into player movement in the hotkeys. Here you can find player attack move click and you can bind it to a hotkey. You can use attack move click to move around by pressing the hotkey that you binded it to. By using right click, if you click next to an enemy, you will not be attacking him. But with attack move click, if you click next to the enemy, you're gonna attack him anyway. Now this is a more advanced way of attacking, but it is very useful to pick up early on, as it means that you can be a little less precise when you're attacking an enemy, and it's something that is really good to get used to. So as you can see here, I am using my auto attack click to attack the enemy, and I am moving back with my right click. For most characters, you're gonna have a passive and you're gonna have 4 spells. Every time you level up, you're gonna get a skill point, and you can put this into one of your spells. Now I would recommend following a guide to know which spells to level up in what order. As you can see, you can only level up the first 3 skills. This is because you can only level up your ultimate skill once you hit level 6, 11, and 16. To level up a skill, either you left click on the arrow, or you use control and whatever key you're using for this spell. Once you have your spell leveled up, you can either left click on the spell and click on the enemy, or you can press the hotkey and left click. Now most of the time what you want to do is you want to press escape, and then you want to go to your ability and click the little arrow that is under it. Once you have turned this on, you can press OK. Now, once you press your spell with your hotkey, instead of having to left click the enemy, your attack will go off automatically. This is very important as you will waste a lot less time using your spells. So once you're familiar with that, you can now go to your lane. You have 3 types of creeps. You have the meter creeps, you have the cannon creeps, and you have the range creeps. Now each creep based on its type is going to give you a different amount of experience and a different amount of gold. To get the gold from the creep, either you're going to want to execute it by right clicking the creep, or you can use a spell to kill it. If you help finish a creep and you don't kill it, you're not going to get the gold from it, but you will get the experience. Once you're getting a little low, you can back by pressing the B button. This recall lasts for 8 seconds and you can be interrupted, so be careful where you're backing as you do not want to die to the enemy. Every champion is going to have its core items. For example, Echo has Hextech Rocket Belt and Lichbane, which are 2 very good items for his core build. These items allow him to have extra mobility and also extra damage on his auto attacks once he uses a spell. Once you build your core items, you are then going to need a pair of boots. Now, based on the situation, if you're a mage, you're probably going to want magic penetration. But based on the situation, you're not always going to pick these boots, as maybe they have a lot of AP and you're going to go with some mercs. Or they're going to have a lot of AD and you're going to go with plated steel caps. Now, optimizing your items is going to be pretty hard when you're a new player. So either you follow a guide, or if you follow the suggested items, the game is going to tell you which items are good against which champions. As you can see in the All Items tab, there are a lot of items to choose from. So now we're going to talk a little bit about vision. You have here what we call a ward. When you place this ward down, it stays for a certain amount of time in a bush and gives your team vision. This is very important to place your wards correctly, as it allows you to see where enemies go past them. This allows you as a player to stay safe and also keep your team safe. You also have these little blue blooms that you can find around the map. Based on where you are and where you hit it, it's going to hit in that direction. This allows you to have vision of what is there, and also you can see wards that the enemy placed and then go and remove them. On both sides of the map, you're going to have something called a scuttle crab. Once you kill this scuttle crab, it will leave behind a little ward of vision that the enemy cannot remove that lasts a certain amount of time and allows you to see anyone who is walking past it. Also, when you walk off of the scuttle crab, it's going to give you some extra movement speed. In the game, there are certain objectives that you need to get with your team. One of them is called the Drake, and there are 4 different elements. There is the Wind Drake, the Mountain Drake, the Infernal Drake, and the Ocean Drake. Once you kill the Drake, the next one will spawn in 5 minutes. Once you kill the 2 first Drakes, the 3rd one is going to be the one that's going to respawn every time until you get 4 Drakes here. Once you kill the first 2 Drakes, the map is going to change based on the elements of the 3rd Drake. Once you or the enemy team has killed 4 Drakes, that team will get a buff based on the 3rd Drake that spawned. Once you or the enemy team kills 4 Drakes, you will spawn the Elder Dragon, and if you kill him, you get an insane buff for your team. The second objective you can pick up is the Herald. The Herald has an eye on his back, so if you hit it, you will be dealing extra damage to him. If killed early enough, the Herald can spawn up to twice in a game. Once the Herald dies, he will leave behind his eye that you can pick up and use on the map to try and get a turret. By summoning the Herald close to an enemy turret, it will charge at it and do a big chunk of damage. At the 20-minute mark, the Baron will spawn. This is a very important buff to get as a team. This buff, once you get close to your minions, is going to make them a lot stronger and attack quicker. It also makes them very tanky, so it's harder for the enemies to kill them. To get to the enemy nexus, you're going to want to take down a certain number of turrets. In the early game, these turrets have plating, which are going to give you extra gold. Each plate gives you 160 gold. Once you take down the enemy's 3rd turret, you will be able to take what we call an inhibitor. When you destroy the enemy inhib, for the next 5 minutes you will spawn super creeps. Super creeps are buff creeps which are going to do a lot of damage, and they are going to push the lane, so they will help you win the game. Once you destroy the 2 towers defending the nexus, you can now end the game. If you enjoyed this beginner's guide, please consider subscribing. If you have any questions, leave them down in the comments and I will make sure to reply to you. If you want to see more from me, I livestream over on twitch.tv/Pandalorian. I am live every Monday, Wednesday and Friday from 11 AM GMT+2. Sometimes my schedule changes, so make sure to check my schedule to see when I am live. If you want to see some more advanced tips, you can check out my other video, 6 tips on climbing ranked. In that video, I go into more detail on the mistakes you are probably making and how you can improve your game. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next video.